welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today I just want to talk about when you have a vision, you need to keep it to yourself. I am so horrible at this. As soon as I envision something or I can think of something or something comes to my mind, I'm so quick to share it with somebody. Because I think honestly what it is just that I be wanting confirmation from other people or acceptance or agreements, but that's where we fall short. If you have a vision, 9 chances out of 10 that vision or that thought is coming from your higher power. So if you were to just wake up with just a desire to do something, or you envision yourself doing something that you may think is a little ridiculous or you may think is far-fetched, but it's there. That's because your higher power is putting that on your spirit. It's letting you see a little glimpse into your future, what he's trying to do for you. So when you go blabbing and trying to get people to agree, and you are already thinking in a human mindset. You're already thinking like, this cannot be possible. How can this work out? Where did this come from? You're already thinking like that. So if you tell somebody and somebody says, oh girl, that sounds crazy. Like you're like, well, I'm thinking I'm gonna quit my job and start a business. And that may be what God or your higher power has for you, because he showed it to you. And you're the only person with the vision. You're the only person who can see that vision. It makes sense to you. In that moment when you're seeing it, you're like, that's great. You feel encouraged. You feel like there is a possibility for anything you want. But then as soon as you share it with somebody, and you may even tell it to your spouse, your best friend, your mom, your dad, whomever you feel comfortable expressing that to, and then they may be like, yeah, but do you think it's really wise in this economy to quit your job and start a company? You know how hard it is? Like, people are struggling, people are losing jobs right now. This is a bad time to quit your job, to start your own company, and you don't even know, like, what do you think you're going to do? Like, what's the process that you think you're going to go through to get that, to make it happen? And you just sort of present it with the end goal of the purpose, or where God or the universe, or where your higher power is trying to take you, that you don't even know. And then it makes you second guess what God is already telling you. You're like, well, maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, because if I quit my job, I'm going to be in a situation where I could be homeless, or I may, everything may crumble. So that is ridiculous. I shouldn't do it. And then you don't do it, or you try to push it to the back burner, but it keeps coming up, and then you're frustrated because you're like, why am I keep having these thoughts and these desires? But everyone is saying it sounds crazy. And even me, because I'm afraid, I agree that it sounds crazy. And so now what? Now I'm in a situation where I want to do something different, but I know the economy. I'm looking at life. I'm looking at reality of what's going on around me. That's the reality of the world, but it's not the reality for my higher power. And when you think like that, when you think of what you can see, you lose faith, because faith is just big hopes for things that can come about that aren't seen. So when you lose that faith, you lose that vision, and you lose that goal and that purpose that God is trying to do for you, or your higher power is trying to take you through. So you need to learn to, when you get a vision, even if it sounds ridiculous, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you feel like, going back to school and you're in your 40s or 50s, and you may say that sounds really ridiculous for me to do that. But it's never too late. As long as you have breath in your body, as long as you're waking up every day, and if it's on your heart to do it, because that is usually a promise from your higher power, just letting you know, so then you don't be afraid. You have something to feel hungry and eager about, something to work towards. Because if you were to just wake up every day and there's no hope put into your heart, there's no glimpse of the future, there's no vision, You're just living, you're just existing. And so you'll just be existing through life, just an empty shell walking through life. But we all have visions, we all have goals, we all have dreams, and those all come from what's installed into us, what's instilled into us, our purpose, our goals in life, what our higher power has promised us. But we just have to work towards those goals, and we have to work towards that vision. We can't allow anybody else to come along and rip that vision from us and make us feel like we're making the worst decisions of our life just because we have a vision and we want to go after it. If you want to go after it, if you have faith and you trust to go after it, do that. Don't allow anybody to speak onto that vision because they can't see your vision. The problem is when we get visions, those visions come for us. If God was to put a vision in my head right now, which I have a vision already, but it's for me. If I was to go and tell you guys, like, this is my vision, you know, even when it came to me moving all the way south from the Midwest, it was a vision in my mind. It was a vision in my spirit. It was there. It sounded ridiculous. And then yes, I was one of the people who fell into asking other people's permission on, what do you think about this? Do you think it'll work? Do you think this is smart? What do you think about it? Like, instead of just going to God and just saying, why do I have this vision? When do you want me to go? You know, and it stunted my growth a lot because at one point I was ready and then I became unready because I started again listening to other people and whatever people had to say, and you know, listen to, oh, that may not make the best sense. Like, why are you going to take your daughter? You know, she's in high school, she's about to go to high school. You're going to take her to a whole new state. She's been going to the same school district all her life. And, you know, just everything that just was pounding on me and making me feel crappy. And that's just the truth. I just felt like I was just making the wrong decision all the way around. But I knew that vision was still there. I knew I had to do it. I knew that that was what was being called on my life for that season. And I made it harder on myself by telling people and trying to get confirmation from people, trying to get people to agree with what God had already told me was his plan for my life. How can I get somebody to agree with what God has for me? I can't even agree with what God has for me because in our human minds, we think we're not deserving, or we think that sounds ridiculous, or we think it sounds impossible, and we start thinking of all these reasons, building up blocks on why we can't do something. But with God and with the universe, or whatever you believe in, sweetheart, with our higher power, we can do anything. It can be the most unimaginable thing. We got people building spaceships and rockets and airplanes, and who would, if you thought with your human mind and you've never seen it and you heard somebody say, I'm going to build an airplane, it's going to fly hundreds of people from one state to another state in a matter of hours, a couple of hours, when it usually would take maybe somebody 8-9 hours to drive it. You would think, yeah, right, you sound crazy. Nobody's going to trust that. I'm not getting on something that flies. We're not meant to fly. Humans don't fly. You know, we'll have every reason to not believe in it. We'll have every reason to try to discourage that person from doing the thing that they feel that they're called to do. And so that's how it is with anything in life. Anytime you have a vision, usually with God, with the universe, with whatever your higher power is, usually when we get those gifts or those warnings, or we get a glimpse into where they're trying to take us, usually it doesn't make sense. It sounds crazy because they want you to have faith. And in order to have faith, it's going to look crazy. It's not going to be like, okay, that makes sense from point A to B. Perfect, that makes sense. Then from B to C, okay, I can do that. No, it's going to be like from A to D to Z, back to B. It's going to be all over the place because you have to have the faith. You have to be willing to go on that ride. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things. You have to be willing to trust. You have to be willing to just go, to do it, to work through the good and the bad, to say, Lord, I'm committed to this. I'm committed to your calling for my life. I'm going to do it. and you do it, you know, and that's where I'm at. I mean, I did it. I had my highs and my lows. I had my exciting moments. I had my scared moments, which I know God is not the author of fear. Please don't judge me on that. But I did have my moments where I was like, I am terrified. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I leaving my life behind to go somewhere where I'm starting over brand new? But it worked out. And because I had my faith and I trusted and I just let it all go, I just let it all be in God's hands, He worked it out. I have things that I never would have even imagined happen, especially this soon. I'm still amazed, but I wake up every day and just be so grateful because I know that it was because of my obedience and my trust and my willingness to jump out of the plane, even though I was terrified and shaking at the knees. That's why I'm where I am now, and I'm living out the purpose that He wants me to live, and I'm getting to the places that He wants me to be. And I wouldn't have seen that growth if I would have been listening to everybody else, staying in fear, staying comfortable, because I was comfortable in Indiana. I really was. I had to get uncomfortable, and once I got uncomfortable, that's when things started to change for me. And that's when I really got to see the love of God. And so, you know, I learned from that big time. If I have a vision, don't worry about what anybody else has to say about it. Don't worry about if it makes sense to somebody or not, because they're not the person, or they're not the spirit or the universe or whatever you believe in. They're not that power that's going to help you to reach that goal, because not even you can help yourself reach that goal. Be honest. You know, we get discouraged and we want to give up. But when you have the faith, when you have that power behind you, pushing you, pulling you to get to where you need to go, you don't give up so easy, do you? So that's what I'm saying. If you have the vision, which you all have a vision, I promise you do. If you have a dream, you all have it. You just have to tap into it, focus on it, and work towards that goal. Work towards that dream, and don't let anybody tell you anything differently. People make pencils and they became millionaires. People water grass, cut grass, build homes, make socks. Like, the list goes on. Everything that you can physically see in this world right now, someone thought it would be a good creation. Maybe somebody thought that they were crazy, or thought that that was stupid. Nobody's ever gonna buy that. People buy those little pop-it things. My daughter's obsessed with them. Those little pop-it, like, for people with anxiety. She loves those things, and they're just so stupid to me. But people actually buy them. Even adults buy them. So it's just like, the list goes on for things that have been created by somebody's vision. Somebody's thought that, okay, maybe somebody's gonna like it, and it's true. Some are gonna like it, some are not. But they did it. That's the point. They did it. They put it out there, and that's how they know. You'll never know until you try. You'll never know until you put yourself out there. You'll never know if it's the right thing or if it's the wrong thing for you. You'll never know what the lesson is that you were meant to learn from it. You'll never know anything until you put yourself out there and you try. And don't let anybody get in the way of your vision. I don't care how big or small that vision is. If it's your vision, 9 chances out of 10, it is something that's meant for you. It's going to happen. It's just, sometimes it takes longer than what you think. It's not all going to flow. I promise you it's not. I promise you it's not going to flow. But if you have your faith, you keep your faith, and you keep trying, and you keep investing, you keep pouring yourself into it, you keep staying dedicated to it, I promise it will unfold for you, and it'll be so much bigger than if you just settled, or if you just wanted to do things that looked normal. You'll find that your visions are the things that's meant for you, and then it'll be just so much greater than what anybody can think in life. But y'all let me know what you think. I mean, I'm sure y'all heard lots of stories about people who've stepped out on faith, and you know, they've done amazing things. People who quit their jobs and just do YouTube full time, and they may have struggled for a while, but now they're huge on YouTube. They're making movies, they're making books, they're, you know, the list goes on. You just never know. You just have to take that step. You have to get uncomfortable, and then things will start to pour. Things that are meant for you will start to pour into your life, and it'll almost be kind of like breathtaking, because it's like, wait, I wasn't ready for that yet. But you can't tell God or your higher power what and when you're ready for something and what you're ready for, because they already know you. So it may seem like, okay, there's no way I can do this. This is crazy. But if it's for you, it's for you. And there's nothing nobody can do, not even you, to stop it. I mean, you can delay it. You can definitely delay it. You can definitely miss your blessings at times. But if it's for you to come back around, it just may take you a lot longer than if you would have listened the first time. So y'all let me know what you think. That's just my little spill on keeping your visions private until they're worked out. You don't need the extra stress. I promise you, I did it and it didn't do me any good. And so it cost me more fear and more frustration than I had to have. But I still had to get here. It was still meant for me to get here. So I'm here, you know. So y'all let me know what you think. Y'all let me know what your experience has been. I'm sure we've all been through something that seemed really crazy or really hard to go through at one point, and we had to sacrifice a lot of things, and now we're in much better situations or positions. So share it, you know, be an encouragement to someone else, and, you know, just let me know what you think, and we'll talk about it. Until next time, bye.